What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want to say the last video you guys saw was me working on my brother's car and buttoning it up. We turned on the all-wheel drive CRX and you guys heard the news of my KRX being a little hurt with the engine. Last night while on my computer, I decided that I'm just gonna go and buy everything that I need for the upcoming things to do here in the garage. I bought all the bearings and everything for the rebuild of the LS block, for the max pinion rod and the PR3 pistons, ACL standard main bearings, ACL thrust washers, and ACL standard rod bearings with extra oil clearance. I believe it's the HX part number, but I was recommended from Nomis for that, for what the engine is going to be put into use for, and all of that should be coming in this following week. For the KRX, I bought the OEM K24A2 TSX head gasket, and I thought about it. I'm pulling the head off to do the head gasket and resurface. This is a great opportunity to slap in the 50-degree VTC cam gear while we're at it. In the previous video, I did get my brother's car running and I had issues with putting it into gear. I called Mark Honda Street Garage. I talked to Nomis, trying to get some insight of what's really going on and why it wasn't going into gear. I've done the clutch installation process a million times before. Everything went smooth as butter. And this is the first time I have a going into gear issue with a brand new clutch. Typically, that happens when the clutch is going out, but this is like the first for me. So after kind of diagging everything that I could before popping the transmission back out to double check the work, I realized that his clutch pedal was going kind of crooked. So I don't want to blabber on too much about it. Let me show you guys what I did. Now, my brother's car is the second car that I made the hydro conversion bracket for. Let me see. So you can see his hydro conversions right there. I made the bracket and I noticed that he was flexing a lot in the pedal, right? It would go sideways a lot. That's because for some reason I didn't put the spacer back on the bolt that goes across that this sits on. So I made shift some bushings to kind of make up for the slack, and now his pedal doesn't have a lot of play. But I also noticed that because we now have the heavy duty pressure plate, every time we press on the clutch, the bracket would flex. Now that was typical with the Hush Performance V1 and V2, and then V3 he made a new tab to secure to the top of the firewall. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but this right here, where am I pointing at? This right here, I welded this 90-degree tab onto the bracket to keep it from flexing, and I adjusted the clevis a little bit more to apply a little bit more pressure, and now his car goes into gear. That is the update for these cars in the last couple of days since the previous video. And I also kind of talked to my brother about the height. He still wants to lower the car more. I'm okay with this height, but he wants to lower the car more. He wanted to put 16s on, and I was like, he just bought those wheels for this car, and it would suck to just buy another set of wheels just to make a car look lower. And then I realized MPC Motorsports make drop forks. The drop forks would drop the front of the car 2 inches without touching the suspension. Granted, we still have space between the oil pan and the floor. We could possibly do it, but I would have to swap his pan out for a steel one just so we don't disintegrate the aluminum one if he hits something. And as I've shown you guys before, the rear goes down pretty low if I wanted to. So we'll figure all of that out when we get to it. Now, because I shifted the engine backward for better axle angle, the exhaust is kind of like pulled or pushed or something like that, and it's rattling underneath the car. So I got to tinker with this car a little bit today. Now, before I get into any work here on the driveway with these cars, I have to work on my uncle's Land Cruiser over there. So apparently the radiator is completely cracked all the way across. And this is a OEM Toyota radiator. My uncle's had this since '96, first owner, and it's leaking a lot of fluid. Now the car is also throwing a brake light on the cluster, minimum, past minimum actually, on the brake fluid. So the caliper pistons probably pushed far out where the pads are like completely gone. So I'm gonna have to check all that too. And you guys already know, I don't know if you guys can hear it in the camera, but the exhaust is rubbing on the car here somewhere. So after I finished the clutch job on my brother's car, I couldn't get the car to go into gear at all, but now you can see we can go into every single gear after fixing the pedal slop and the clutch masters. I kind of got the steering wheel dialed a little bit. I took the 19mm bolt in the middle out, adjusted the tie rod ends, and then as I was driving, I kind of just took off the steering wheel and hub and tried to align it as straight as I could. The car definitely needs an alignment. You can feel the tires still kind of binding a little bit. Car's really quiet on the inside. 2.5 exhausts, box muffler and resonator. When you're driving, you can really hear the exhaust rattling, so I got to situate that for sure. It also sounds like it has an exhaust leak at the flex pipe, because when I made this header for the all-wheel drive transmission, I had a flux core. Jeez. When I was working at Tesla and I thought I spun a bearing in my Wagon at the time, I drove this Land Cruiser for a little bit to work and back, and it was different because obviously none of my family or anybody owns a SUV or a truck, so it was kind of weird driving this to work and back. How high it is, how long it is, how ginormous it was, but I need a truck in my life. Ugh, freaking hood shocks are gone. Ugh. Stay. So I've had this jack right here for a very long time, and I remember it kind of like blew out. So if you look, this motion doesn't do anything with pressure, and this happened after my brother jacked the middle of his car from the front, and it hasn't worked correctly since. So I've been trying to save up, well, not trying to save up, just trying to find the right time, the spare money to go buy a Daytona jack, one of those low pros that you pump a little bit and it goes up super high. Definitely need one of those. But also big shout out to Luis for this Daytona. Although it is a 1.5 ton, this is great for like road trips, track events and stuff, but for home use I rather much prefer the 2 ton or 3 ton, I forgot what this is, but I want the bigger jack for home use. So I'm gonna jack this up while I wait, so we can see how bad the brakes are. I don't even know where to jack this car up. Mongo just came back with the radiator and the brake pads. Yeah, way past 50%. He was like, oh, it's not squeaking or anything. I said, no, when you hear the squeaking, that's when you know you're way past service. He didn't buy brake pads because he said that he already bought them like 6+ months ago, and it's somewhere in the car, somewhere. So here's the new brake pad, and this is the old one. You can see pretty much past the halfway point, and that rotor was okay. This one though, a lot of warpage, pretty bad. And I always tell my uncle, don't ignore all the warning signs of the cluster. Him and his daughter, nobody ever pays attention to any of the lights, and I've done a lot of the repairs on a lot of these cars. He has 3 daughters and a son, and I've done a lot of repairs on a lot of these cars over the years because of negligence. And I did the brakes and rotor on this car, this Land Cruiser, a long time ago, and this needs to be spun or new rotors. Now it is Sunday. I don't know, I actually don't even remember any place around here that still spins rotors. and I don't want to waste any time, so I'm just going to run the brake pad on this warp rotor. It's going to make some noise, but they do have warranty, so we're going to have to take care of the rotor a different day. So this sucks because this was brand new when I put it on. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the front. And I was looking at his bag of brake parts, and he has rear pads too, so it looks like I'm gonna have to do the rear pads as well. When you bottom out the piston, it should just allow you to put the whole brake pad in there like that. Before I get to the rear brakes, I'm gonna go ahead and just do the radiator first so we don't fall into the night with this, which I am trying not to. And also, before I get started, I want to make sure we have the right radiator here. Okay, nipple, driver's side, and top fill. Top fill, where's the nipple? Okay. Wait, there is one over there, so what's that? Oh, it's broken off. What in tarnations? Okay, driver's side. Bolt hole, you see, it's kind of offset, it looks a little different. Transmission cooler lines. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab my spill tray. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Oh, okay, well there's the drain with a bunch of lines in front of it. And the holes right here, literally. Huh. This is gonna be a freaking mess for sure. Kind of got zoned out trying to do the work here. So the radiator, the brackets are different on the sides, so I literally had to dismantle a few of the items like the battery tray and the front grille and stuff to get to all the bolts to remove the bracket with the radiator. So I just got back out underneath the car to pull out the transmission cooler line, and the radiator should be ready to pop out. Now I really can't show you guys because my freaking battery died on the light. So both the power steering lines do not go to the radiator. One goes into the radiator, the other one goes around to a cooler in the front. So there's another hose down there. I need to get one of those overhead lamps because the one that's hanging on the carport don't really shine down here. So I was looking at my brother's car and I noticed that the front is lower than where we initially left it when we left the driveway. And if you look at the back, I don't know if you guys can notice it, the back is a lot higher than the front. The front's at least 1.5 finger and the rear is like 2.5. You guys see that? I don't know if the suspension settled or not, but it looks good at the front where it's currently sitting at. So I'm just down here doing all of the hose clamps and everything. And this engine was supposedly replaced or rebuilt a couple of years ago when my uncle's wife destroyed the motor. And the guy that did the work, I'm not entirely sure if this is a rebuilt engine or a replacement engine or whatever the case may be, but look at that glob of RTV right. I don't know if you guys can see that, but all of that right there, that's a glob of RTV. Let me get a better look here. Yeah, I don't know what that is or what the function of that is, but look at the entire underneath of the car. Terrible. leaks everywhere. Ugh. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this car is a little irritating today because of my big ass arms not being able to fit in certain places to get all of the bolts out to remove the radiator. We did fall into the night. It's about 8 o'clock right now, and I still need to do the rear brakes. Gas, brake, dip, dip. Okay, yeah, these brake pads need to be broken in a little bit. It didn't even stop. Oh, yeah, it does stop now for sure. I just want to apologize for today's content, guys. Nothing spectacular going on other than just working on my uncle's truck. It was supposed to be a kick back leg up kind of day, and I don't know why I agreed to this, but I did. And at the end of the day, my uncle's SUV is good and golden with the new radiator, so he's not having to worry about filling up water slash coolant, mostly water because that's what drained out. But he don't have to keep worrying about filling it up every single day, every single time he parks, every single time he drives it. The brake pads are replaced, so the fluids came up and there's no more brake light on the dash, so that's good. I didn't have to fill it up because it did go all the way back up, and right now I'm just parking it out on the street because I need to drive away for something else tomorrow. A little bit more talking before I wrap this video up. My brother still wants me to order the MPC. He doesn't even know the front suspension settled, and I'm kind of okay with that ride height, even though I was okay with the ride height before. But if he wants to order, it's his money. Probably going to order the MPC drop forks and then readjust the ride height once we get all of that. The brake stuff should be coming in like the following week, so we'll bring that car back up on the driveway to situate all of the brakes and the lines and everything he wants to do to it. Once more KRX waiting for the head gasket, and then once we are clear with the projects, we'll move that up here and get that car situated so that way I can enjoy it again. Red car, I'm still sad. I need to set out my drive shaft. I'm super slacking. Drive shaft should come back, and then I can do the exhaust system, and then we can clean up the car. Then we can set this car up to get rid of. Bearings, oil pump, water pump, all that good jazz is coming for the LS block, so we can build that real soon. I do already have the flex hone and the assembly lube and everything for that. I probably need to either pull this engine off the stand or go buy another stand so I can get the engine up high and start tearing that thing down so we can get it prepped to be assembled with the new piston rod setup. I got a couple packages under the table I forgot about. Let me grab that real quick. This package right here came from HA Motorsports. This actually came a little while ago. Just kind of forgot the package was sitting under the table because out of sight, out of mind, right? HA Motorsports. I believe this is the Honda 4-bar. Yeah, so this is the Honda 4-bar from my brother's Supercharger because we are going to be changing his pulley out for, I want to say it's like a 7 or 9 pounds or something like that, and I want to make sure that we don't creep past what the stock map sensor allowed. So we got a Honda 4-bar. This one right here came a little bit late because Brandon was kind of out of 3XL. This is merch from his website to support his father's passing, and it's a pretty cool design as well too. And I figured, you know, the cold season's coming here real soon and I need new sweaters and a new t-shirt. So this right here is the Wefshitup t-shirt. You can find this on Brandon's website, and this one right here is a sweater. It's the same design with this hatch on it. This is going to come in clutch for all the cold nights to come, and actually I don't even think I'm going to be wearing this working on cars. But big shout out to Brandon Wefshitup for the merch. If you guys want to give a follow on his Instagram, his hatch Miley is getting 1,000 horsepower motor, and it is all-wheel drive. Obviously he's got a built transmission, a built drivetrain. Be sure to follow Brandon on his Instagram and show him some love, man. That guy drops so much knowledge for the community, and he has a lot of great parts for sale and for waffle. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed today's content on my everyday life, sometimes I record it, sometimes I don't, and this is kind of what I do, like usually off camera, be sure to hit the like button. And if you guys want to stick around for more progress updates on all of these EF you guys see here on the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm forcing myself to really button up the giveaway car, and I think maybe sometime this week I'm going to take the giveaway car to go do its alignment, and possibly maybe schedule a tune, because my tuner is going through some life changes right now. Maybe we'll get this car on a dyno real soon. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.